In this video, I'll be checking out the Play2Video Ultra from Ottocast. This is an all-new 3-in-1 CarPlay and Android Auto adapter, which allows a closed Android operating system with some pre-installed apps, which will give you the ability to run applications such as YouTube and Netflix on your car display, alongside wired to wireless connectivity for CarPlay and Android Auto as well. It's competitively priced as well, so there's a lot to look forward to on this adapter. So let's first check out what comes inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a paper instruction manual and a quick start guide. You get the Play2Video Ultra adapter with its tethered cable, a USB-A to USB-C adapter for more modern car ports in the car, and you get a USB-A to USB-A power pass-through should your USB port not be sufficiently powered to power the adapter. Okay, so looking over at the adapter then, it is a very nice actually. It's nicely well designed. It almost feels like a pebble. It's got this nice sheen, this top plastic here with the Ottocast logo. There's an LED indicator light that lets you know the power and the connection status at the top there. We have a very small, I'd say 12, 15 centimeters of cable there to connect to your CarPlay or Android Auto port with a USB-A connection on one end. Obviously you need the adapter for a modern CarPlay port. On one end you have a USB-A port, which is basically just used for expanded storage. So you can actually have your films or music on a USB drive and insert that into the end there. And you've got extra media that you can play on your car display. Nothing else is to write home about on the adapter. You've got some nice passive cooling there to keep the chipset inside cool. And on the bottom here, you've got a little reset hole, and you can actually factory reset the adapter from that physical switch there as well. Okay, comparing it to its previous model, the Play2Video Pro, you can see it's slightly smaller in size. We've got the same USB connectors, although this requires a attached cable. It's not actually tethered to the device. So there's one thing that could go wrong. If that cable breaks, then that renders the whole adapter pretty much useless. So it's a nice physical upgrade. But also we've got an upgrade in terms of the RAM and the storage, which has gone from 2 GB to 4, 16 GB to 32. We've got improved Wi-Fi band 6 instead of 5, an improved Bluetooth 5.4 from the previous 4.2, and it's got a more durable casing design as well, so it should last the test of time with any knocks and bumps as well. And thanks to its passive cooling, that's going to help it keep cool, and that's going to hopefully help with its longevity as well. So pretty exciting adapter if you're on a budget and you're looking for wired to wireless connectivity, as well as some native streaming from the Android app that come pre-installed on the adapter. But let's next check this out in the car with our demo. So I'll see you there. Right, so in the Cupra Born, we've got the Ottocast Play2Video Ultra here, ready to get plugged in. We're going to use the USB-C connection for our CarPlay port in the car, get this plugged in and see how quickly it takes to boot up. Right, connecting now. Right, that's us into the main menu interface. Nice and rich interface, launcher at least. Got this warning about watching video and driving, obviously. But we now have a series of widgets or panels to the various applications that they have pre-installed. We've got a media panel if you're using it for Bluetooth audio or playing media from the USB drive. Bluetooth calling and music, video playback from the USB stick as well. Clear memory, settings, and back to the car system screen. Settings, we have the ability to connect to Wi-Fi, which we currently have set up previously. Got a nice persistent back button bar here as well. Personalization, we've got the floating button on and off, which we'll turn off. We don't need that. You can turn this sidebar off as well as its position between left and right. System settings, change the language and the time, and go into factory modes. Help and feedback. Doesn't really go to that much apart from some facts and about. That will take us to various ways to update the software, what software you're running. It's running base of Android 12 and it's using Linux as its main foundation of the chipset. Over in the more section, we've got your usual Android settings. We've got music and Bluetooth calling. You need to connect your device in order to do that between calling and music playback. If you don't want to use it for CarPlay, for example. Let's check out YouTube. And that's us into YouTube. relatively quick, but you do have to factor in it's only got 4 GB of RAM, so multitasking is going to be a little bit slower than the more higher end and more expensive AI boxes that are out there. Let's just jump straight into the Twitch and check out the audio sync. Okay, not too bad actually, audio sync. We're probably in the plus hundreds, 80 to 120 range. So I'll be happy with that generally for the price. Let's just check out some actual lip sync though. Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing makers switch their focus towards the 2-in-1 wireless CarPlay adapters, which offer the ability to also pair with Android Auto devices too. Okay. But that's for another video. That's pretty good sync actually. I'd be happy to watch anything like that. It would be, yeah, good. Okay, let's check out Netflix. That's us into Netflix. It's obviously an older version of Netflix. As you can tell by the UI changes slightly, so still using the old version. Not too bad. Obviously loading up all the tiles. Jump into a video.
The overtake on Valtteri created this spark and this tension between the two of us.
That was committed, it was brave, it was brilliant!
Okay. I thought, you know what?
Sounds good. The quality's not great though. It could be my internet connection. I don't know why it didn't it carried on there. It could be my internet connection at detecting that, and it's reducing the quality. If you've got a better internet connection, Netflix should stream a bit of a higher quality video. But the sound was good, lip sync was good. I'll be happy with that. Just that quality issue, which should improve with better bandwidth. I don't have Prime Video set up. Let's check out Spotify. Okay, that's us finally into Spotify. Very, very lengthy getting in there. Again, it could be an internet connection thing, but I've got at least 3/4 bar to my Wi-Fi, and it's a fast Wi-Fi 6 router here. I'm not that far from the house, but considering, yeah, that should be a lot quicker. Just shows you the processing and the RAM limitations of this small box is going to make a much slower experience. So other than that, once you're in, and you should be able to interact with the content. I say fairly quickly, but it's taking a while to get us in there. I can play. So now that's working. You can use the wheel controls to navigate your content backwards and forwards. Pull button, what does that do? Nothing. Nothing. Okay. And if we go home, that should be populating in this panel here. And then you can actually, shame there's no album art, but you can interact with the content that way as well. So that's not bad. Let's just try out IPTV. So once you're in the IPTV section, you've got the means to add your playlist files, and you can actually then try a stream from that, such URLs, if you've got that ability to stream. Obviously, you'll only be as good as your bandwidth as well. You can swipe in on the side there and go back home. Let's try out a USB drive. So we've got a USB drive here. We're going to plug it into the end of the adapter, which is running rather toasty at the moment. So we're going to plug in our USB drive. We're going to go into the media player here. All our media is then connected, and now we can try out some content.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi. Destroy in order to create.
So we've got a few ratios here, but not many. And it seems to be messing about with that player. So I'm going to quit out Spotify because that meant to be really not working alongside it. So there's a bit of a bug there. So you got squashed.
We are no Jedi.
That's squashed. Large. stretched.
I started hearing whispers
Still a bit squashed.
of Thrawn's return as heir to
Yeah,
the
that's very
Empire.
squashed.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Yeah.
Power.
So not too bad, but the video playback is not as good as something like VLC. You've got some ratio manipulation there, but it's just not. I turned that off. That just constantly wants to keep playing. That's really, really weird. It's not even running Spotify anymore. That's weird. Anyway, as I was saying, you've got some ratio changes on the content, but it's not as good as VLC or the player itself. They could have supplied VLC in here perhaps. Don't know if that needs a license or something to sell it. But anyway, that would have been a little bit of a better option than their current built-in player there. We'll just go into the applications, and you do have music. So you do have the ability to play music from an MP3 list of files. It's not picking up as it is. We've got the tracks here. Plays in a very not so sexy player. They could have spent a bit more time in creating a better player here, but it still will play from that little widget panel here, which likes to interrupt us every now and then. So we'll turn that off for now. So that's playing media from your USB drive. And what else do we have to play with? That's pretty much it. You can obviously load in TikTok and Disney Plus should you want to access that content there. There's no browser. There's no Google Play Store. It is a closed system. So bear that in mind. You can only access the pre-installed apps here. That's why it is quite a lower budget entry version of an AI box. If you haven't got wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, you can now use the multiplay app and cut the cable and use your phone wirelessly with this adapter. So we're going to try that out with CarPlay first. Up here we've got some settings to auto connect, so you can actually boot straight into wireless CarPlay and Android Auto via this system. If you want that, we're not going to be doing that now. But let's get this connected to the Bluetooth profile. Okay, here we have the Bluetooth profile here. So we're going to tap that. Pair. Connect. So we're nice and quick. And wow, that's us into wireless CarPlay. I'd say it's a little bit blurry, but not so blurry to be super concerned about. It's just that I know what it looks like natively. For the layman, they really wouldn't probably tell. Let's just see what the interaction's like. It's a little bit laggy, but that's expected. We are emulating this connection rather than doing it through hardware like a wireless adapter would. So you have to compromise with that fact. Let's just go into maps. It's a little bit more washed out because obviously the emulation does do that. Responsiveness is pretty good though. Let's do a direction. Okay, because it's like an AI box, it's kind of expected. There's no cluster support or HUD support. We do have us pointing the right way though, roughly. Oh, no. No. So no GPS pass-through either. It's kind of expected on an AI box, let's be honest. Let's just try some audio. It's not updating the content here. Okay.
Damn, Jimmy.
That's the delay, slightly bit laggy. Wheel controls, backwards and forwards, that works. Seeking, that does work. Call button. Uses Siri.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com. This is an audio test using the Play2Video Ultra. And this is an audio test. Play2Video Ultra. And this is an audio test.
Okay, the music's resumed, so that's a positive. Negative, wow. I've never had an AI box or wireless adapter that manipulates the voice like that. So obviously we're not sounding like a chipmunk. That's not correct. That's very funny, but obviously completely wrong. So you wouldn't want that. That needs to be fixed. So bear that in mind there. Let's now do a call test. Hello? 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, call was okay. quality was alright, and the delay was a little bit longer than normal, and the audio is resumed as well. So not too bad. That is CarPlay. A little bit washed out, slightly blurry, not the worst I've seen. The calling is a little bit laggy, touch input laggy, and that sound recording from voice message was the icing on the cake. Yeah, let's try out Android Auto. Okay, so here we have Android Auto ready to go. Tapping on the profile pair. That's us into Android Auto. Very high resolution. I don't know if this is native or they're pumping out a much higher resolution request for this adapter. So that's a bonus. That's quite rare. Let's look at our interaction. It's going to be pretty much a little bit snappier than CarPlay is. You can see the frame rate is not there. So it takes a while to detect the inputs sometimes, but this is a few misses there. Let's just do navigation. Okay, no cluster support or HUD support in this either, kind of expected because of how this is working. But yeah, not too bad. Higher resolution than some devices offer, so that's really, really good. Let's check out some audio. Much more responsive in Android Auto. Wheel controls, backwards and forwards. Call button. Hi Google. Oh, that doesn't like that. How can you help? Hi Google, how can you help? Hi Google, how can you help? No, doesn't seem to like that well. So let's do a call test. Hello? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Call quality. Not too bad. Delay. Yeah, happy with that. And it's definitely responsive enough to have a call with. So that's Android Auto in a nutshell. So let's come out of that. We can go back to the main system here, back to the main system of the Play2Video Ultra. We've gone through most of the applications here. As I said earlier, there's not much else you can actually use or install. There is a files section, but I don't think you'll be able to sideload those apps through the Files app. You could try, but I don't think it will work. Yeah, there you have it. Okay, and we can check out its thermal progress even. That's the box. It is running quite warm and toasty. We've got about 47 degrees on the top edge. You can see the heat escaping out of the hole here. That's at 58 to 56 degrees on the back. So it's definitely running a little bit warm and toasty, but it's not excessively hot, but it is definitely hot. That chip is definitely running a little bit warm. So the Play2Video Ultra currently retails for $109 on sale right now at this time of recording, and you can get that directly from them, and I'll put links to that down below so you can learn more about this adapter, support the channel, and buy yourself one. Generally, I had high hopes for this because it's been a few generations now of this Play2Video box. Everyone has gone a bit better, but it's always been the same story. It's a low-end AI box that's closed, and the low end is going to give you a very disruptive experience because the quality of the hardware and the reduced RAM does make that experience not as swift and rapid as you kind of expect on a phone or a tablet that is selling today. Think of it of a very old Android tablet from many years ago. That kind of frustration and speed is very similar to the experience here. That will be improved with a decent internet connection, but it will not improve the multitasking, the scrolling, the navigation of those particular apps. We've seen a few bugs occur with the media coming through other applications and not silencing them. And it takes a little while to multitask out and back to close those particular apps. That's a bit of a detriment. The media playback, or at least video playback from the USB drive, the ratio adjustments are a little bit off. That could be tweaked a little bit better to make that a bit better experience. Mirroring VLC would have been my go-to there as a application to adopt that same kind of quality of controls. Not much quality has gone into the music playback either. That should have been a little bit more richer experience to match the experience that you've got on the home screen here. We saw Netflix quality is not that great, but again, that might be in a bandwidth issue, but the speech and the lag was actually quite decent. Spotify took absolutely forever to get in and navigate. Again, that's a detriment to the hardware. YouTube was good, not the best, but considering its price range, that's very acceptable. And the wireless CarPlay, not that great. We had that problem with the call quality of the voice message. Don't know what that is. I never heard that in my life. I've been doing this for over 5 years now. So yeah, that's a strange one. Android Auto, better experience. So if you're using an Android device, it's a much better experience. But again, there were a few little issues there that you saw earlier as well. So lots to cherry pick out of those little experiences. Which ones might affect you? Do bear those in mind and whether it's going to make that purchase a little bit frustrating. But at its cheap price range, you could potentially get the R2 from CarLink Kit. That might be a better experience. It's an open box as well, so you'll be able to download any other applications there too. So it's a nice try again from Ottocast. They just really need to double down on the experience, add a better chipset in there with a bit more power behind it and increase the RAM, and they might actually get the box to where it really should be to get the best experience. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, give us a big thumbs up down below and let me know if you have any questions about the Play2Video Ultra, and I'll try my best to answer them. If you like my content, you'd like to support my channel, you can do so with a super thanks on YouTube. Give us a hype, or you can check me out and buy me a coffee. You can support me there too. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.